Welcome to Talking Jets. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I have Green Bean and Matt O'Leary. Boys, how you doing tonight? Green Bean, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Dude, it's the lull, man. I don't know what I would do without you guys. So I'm always happy to be here with all of you, man. And you guys are going to get me through it. So thanks for being here for me.
I love it. I love it. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Lull, Green Bean, you don't want to talk about Zach Wilson being called beefy and then him calling Salah beefy and skinny Denzel Mims. I have so much things to get off my chest today.
Oh, I'm good. You're my savior.
There's so many things we can get into as far as like they always call the combine the underwear Olympics, but like OTAs, there's like always all this to do about like what's going on and oh, this guy showed up like this or this guy's not here for this. And people make a whole big issue about it. So we'll get into all that. Boys and girls, if you're just hopping in the chat, make sure you hit that like button. For every 25 likes we get, we're going to pick a qualifier for our t-shirt giveaway at the end of the stream. And if you're watching this after the fact and you want to get in on the t-shirt giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment on this video down below. We did get some great comments about the Michael Clemens, Chuck Norris type jokes for last week's stream. So I'll have Matt pull up a few of those in a little bit. We'll go through some of those. Those are kind of fun. But yeah, we got a little bit to talk about. Let's show this real quick. 7-second clip. Jeremy Ruckert signing with the New York Jets. Very cool. Let's see. You got the audio going.
1, 2. J-E-T-S! Jets! Jets! Jets!
What? I could just watch Jeremy's dad over and over again. He makes me smile.
I want to hang out with him. Like he lives like 20 minutes from me. I want to see Bill Ruckert. If you're listening, and I know that you are, please send me a DM on Twitter and we need to do a live stream for a Jets game or something because I just want to hang out and like have a good time with Bill. That's all.
Well, what's so great about this is there's no way he's missing his son's first game. And it's the home opener. And you know who's going to be at the home opener?
Oh.
The three of us. Plus everyone else. We got Richie coming. Jake's going to come. Or not Jake. Jack. We got the Let's Talk Jets guys. Tyson and Primetime. You got Blewett.
That's awesome.
Buffalo Jet fans going to be there. It's going to be fun.
And we're all hanging out at the Sack Exchange Jets Lounge thing, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I think that's the plan. We got to get in touch with Sack and figure out exactly what he's doing in terms of like tailgate stuff. But I think that's where we're going to be at.
I can't wait. Yeah. Is it September yet?
Yeah, dude.
It's so far away. Got all of June, all of July, all of August, and then basically like
that's
2 weeks. Not fun. Too much.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. But you know what? Before that, I got you guys, number one. So we can talk. We can get through it. Then we have like training camp. Then we got preseason games. You know what I mean? People say they want to take preseason out. I couldn't live. What the hell's wrong with people taking fucking preseason out?
What would you do in August if you took preseason out?
Oh, I don't know. People are dumb.
Just take preseason out for the Jets. You could have every other team, and then we could watch them get hurt. Sad.
Oh, I want preseason games. I want to watch preseason. I love it. I love watching fourth and fifth.
I just cringe.
Oh, you're nervous? Well, that's a new phenomenon, man. It's like I remember never. It was like nobody ever got hurt in preseason. Everybody's so fragile. I don't know what's going on. I think it's going to change for us. I think now that we have like a winning vibe, you know what I mean?
Was it 2010 or 11 when they renegotiated the collective bargaining agreement and took out the two-a-days and the hitting?
Yep.
I think that's what did it. I think bodies are just not ready for contact, and then getting hit in a preseason game just kind of threw all that off.
I agree. Everything changed right then. Everything changed. All the injuries, but I don't know. I like to watch my guys. I like to watch the bottom end of the roster trying to make make the team. Like if you want to get your starters out there for a series or two, that's all well and good. But for me, preseason is like, let me watch these hungry motherfuckers who want to make this team. Let's see who's worthy. I don't know. I really dig preseason.
And Jet says he got the sauce shirt. He was our winner from, was it last week's? I think it was last week. Pretty sure.
Nice.
Something
Good stuff,
like that.
Ant. Maybe it's 2 weeks ago. It might have been 2 weeks ago.
He got the wide receiver one with the sauce on it.
He got one of them. I'm not sure which one it was offhand. I feel like it might have been like the sauce, like just the sauce one with like.
That's
the
a good one
swag.
too, though.
I feel like that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. If you guys want to get your Wham limited edition sauce gear, jetstalk.com, or be our lucky winner at the end of today's show. So got stuff going on. Always good to see Ant in the chat. Eric drops in, says, actually flying from LA to see my first Jets home game week 1. So excited. Let's get a W. That stadium is going to be rocking. Like as much excitement as there was last year for the first time being in the stadium in like 2 years, the wind got sucked out of that stadium real fast.
Yep.
This year, team is totally different. We got more weapons. We won't have to throw as much. We'll be able to hand the ball off to Breece Hall, Michael Carter, take a little pressure off Zach, and then punch the Ravens in the mouth with something over the top. It's going to happen.
You know,
Eric, you're going to have to come see us.
Yeah, that's great. But you know what I mean? Like, remember last year, it was before the Zach thing that the game was already over. Remember when we got that fumble and they said it was an inadvertent whistle or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we blew the whistle, right?
That set the tone.
It did. It set the whole tone. Then Zach came out 2 plays later, threw a pick. I looked at Matt. I'm like, dude, you know what this is. He's like, yep.
Yeah.
So, but maybe this year, maybe the NFL is ready to start favoring us a little bit. Maybe it's our time. It's about like Joe Douglas did enough. We have a real team. Like there's a lot of talent on this team, a lot of young stars, potential stars, that is. Maybe they're willing to start giving us a little bit of benefit of the doubt, and that can make all the difference, man.
We put up some points. You better believe next year we're getting some primetime games, not just the standard Thursday game once a year.
Yeah, what is it about primetime? You know, we did this before. I don't want to derail the whole. What is it about primetime that everybody likes so much? What is it?
Oh, it's just you. The whole nation's on you. Like everyone's talking about the primetime game. Like that's what's fun about it. Like there's a different, like for me, I think of almost like high school football days where you'd go to the football game or maybe you're playing in the game and you have like just a buzz about you and you have like, I don't know. It's just something about a night game. It's under the lights. Like, yeah, they have the lights on during the day, but it's just something's different about it. It's cooler. There's a crisp like bite in the air. I don't know.
You mean if you're there?
If you're there, yeah. If you're sitting in your house, doesn't make any sense. But like, I still like watching primetime because it's fun because everyone's talking about us. Not gonna lie, really enjoyed the Jets getting a bunch of love from the draft, and I want to see a little bit more of that. I just don't want to be embarrassed all the time.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe that's all I've seen for decades. So maybe I don't know.
But, did we do this conversation 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
it's
like deja vu. It's a little bit deja vu.
Buffalo Jet fan drops in. Buffalo's coming to week 1 with us. We're going to see him there. Really excited about this. I collabed with him last week. So if you guys didn't check out that collab, head over to his channel. You'll see that. Better Camp headline. Becton shuts down Lawson or Lawson cooks Becton. Ooh, that's a really good this or that.
Easy one.
I would really prefer Becton shuts down Lawson. Like you got to protect Zach. That's correct. What I would prefer to see. I would love to see Lawson cooking Becton because I think Becton will be able to figure it out. And he's always kind of had a little bit of trouble with speed rushers. And having Lawson have the burst to get past Becton is far more exciting for me. But Becton being the dominant force on the left-hand side is the story we want to have happen. Matt, how you feeling about that?
This is to me, I love Buffalo Jet. I also collabed with him, so you could check that out too. And if you're not subbed up, you should be to him. This is like not even a question to me. This is so obvious. The obvious choice to me is that Becton comes out on top because last year during training camp, if you remember, it was Lawson beating him over and over. And that's when all this shit started, with him getting stirred up
Yep.
about him being out of shape, and just everything went off the rails after that. So it's pretty much been a year straight of a shitstorm for everyone against Mekhi Becton. So for him to come out and be like, hey, yeah, I struggled against this guy last year, but I'm here, I'm in shape, I'm ready to go like I was as a rookie. That to me is significantly more important than Carl Lawson bullying him again.
So, devil's advocate here. I'm a little concerned. Like, what if Becton handles Lawson? But it's not because Lawson is awesome. It's because he's just coming back from an Achilles. And then we don't really see a true test of Becton. And you don't really get the true gauge on what Lawson is. Like, that's the other side of this coin.
True, but I guess it depends on if we're operating that they're both 100% and good to go. If the injury is still playing a factor, then that's a little bit, I guess that's a little bit different. But even
it's
so, the
like
Jets,
it's probably a wide range. Like if Lawson's dominating Fant and then not dominating Becton, or if Becton's dominating, everyone, not just Lawson, then I think we're probably got somewhere to go with that. Green Bean, what are your thoughts on this particular topic? Green Bean, what are your particular thoughts on this What are your thoughts on this particular topic? It's all right.
something's off there.
That's
Nah,
right.
he's
probably doesn't
having a hard
realize our
time.
audio's on. Guest muted themselves, is what it says on my side. Looks like he muted his freeze frame. Throw some green beans in the chat for
Toss a bean
for all you members. Freeze beans.
No.
So fun fact, Matt. I know we were talking a little bit about this, guys. If you have not tried the new White Claws, where is it? Bam, tropical pomelo something or other smash. Very good. There's Green Bean. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
are
I'm
your
going to be
thoughts
in
on the
trouble
Becton
tonight, it looks
Lawson?
like. Looks bad over
What's
here.
your thoughts on Becton Lawson?
Well, all right. If you can hear me, I'll just do it. Now, number one, if I had to pick one, I would pick Becton is doing well because he's the guy under more scrutiny. But I will say this, and I firmly believe this. My whole problem with that in the first place is that training camp headlines don't mean anything. Like they really don't. We don't know what anybody is working on. We don't know what the coaches are doing. We don't know who's got a greater install going on. You know what I mean? Like we don't know. But I just with what Buffalo is talking about, I would much rather let Becton start coming out of this this hole that they've built for him. Would be more beneficial for the team overall because our blood in the water beat is dying to keep this going. So I think that would be better for the team.
Did you hear? I don't know if you heard my thought earlier. What do you think if Becton or if Lawson's not 100% healthy, Becton's dominating him, and it's not necessarily a good show of like skill between the two? I guess it's probably more as like, is Lawson beating Fant, and how is Becton going against the other rushers? But like, I guess
that's what I
beating
mean.
Lawson isn't necessarily, I don't know. Coming off the
That's
injury.
just it. Like we don't know. We don't know if they're talking to Lawson about doing X, Y, or Z. If they're talking to Becton about only doing that, like we don't know. That's the thing. Like they like to take this stuff and make stuff out of it. And so my concern with that stuff is that our fans are waiting for those types of headlines. Like we feast upon it, and it doesn't mean anything. So I'm just, I don't know. I know what he's talking about, and I would just like Matt said, assuming everybody's healthy. I think it's more important right now for Becton, even though Carl Lawson came off the Achilles, for some reason he's under significantly less scrutiny with his third season-ending injury over Becton's one. But I would just rather Becton, like I think Matt said it too, like protecting Zach. Like that's the most important thing. If I got to pick one, it's that Zach Wilson is upright. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Mutt Viles drops in, celebrating 18 months of membership. Thank you, Mutt Viles. He says, "What's up, guys? Who is coming to the home opener this season? Gonna be so much fun. going 12-5 and watching postseason ball. What you guys think of Sauce and DJ in OTAs? Go Jets. I want to see them with like more pads on because it's just uppers and gym shorts and no real contact, and everyone looks good when you're running around in gym shorts. But I want to see some hitting. But it's exciting to see the guys in the jerseys, seeing the guys sign. You got Ruckert sign, Wilson sign, Johnson, Sauce, all those guys are signed. Have we seen Brees sign yet? Is he inked?
I think he's the only one that hasn't.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought I saw the other guys go. Yeah, we'll be there. Look, Mutt Viles, you better come find us.
You did last year.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Expect nothing less. We're going to be at week 1. Really, really looking forward to it. We'll get things a little more in line so you guys can find us if you're going to be there. But we'll have some fun. Kevin C. says, like to hear the panel's thoughts on Stephen A. trashing the Jets. Saleh and Wilson today says last place is reserved for the New York Jets. Disrespect. So we actually had this queued up. So we're going to hop over to that right now. And this is the clip that Kevin C. is talking about. I have not watched it yet.
I have.
Me neither.
I'm irate about it.
Let's see.
Oh, I can't wait to be pissed with you,
bro. Something is absolutely positively
Well,
wrong.
but let's talk about it.
I gotta seriously say to you that if it wasn't for Adam Gase, I think you sound high. I mean, you got to be kidding me. The New York Jets are in this division, and you talk about the Patriots have to worry about being in last place in the AFC. The New York Jets, okay? I mean, they regressed to a point where Fireman Ed said, you know what? Let me retire from putting out fires because that's how bad the New York Jets are, okay? Don't get me started with him, all right? I mean, my boy Jeff in California, I mean, he walking around, I mean, he damn near ready to hide his Jets jersey. The New York Jets, you mean Zach Wilson, the quarterback, had 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, didn't even throw for 3,000 yards. You mean the New York Jets with Coach Robert Saleh? Did I pronounce his name right? I think it's Saleh. I'm not making fun of it.
Saleh.
I'm trying to make sure
Saleh.
Okay, yeah, Robert Saleh, right? Listen, this brother was a big-time defensive coordinator in San Francisco. We know this. He got the job at the New York Jets. They ranked dead last in points allowed, dead last in yards allowed, bottom 3 against the pass and the damn rush. And defense is your signature. I know it was his rookie year, but damn it, I mean, come on now. Don't get me started with them offensively. I see they got some weapons. I know they could play Mims and the crew. They could play Corey Davis and them. I get all of that. But the point is, at the end of the day, the New England Patriots got to worry about being in last place when the last time the New York Jets were relevant from a championship perspective was when Broadway Joe was their quarterback walking around in tight shorts in 1969. You know, are you kidding me? I know Bill Parcells got him to a couple of AFC championship games. Rex Ryan did as well. But the bottom line is the New England Patriots don't have nothing to worry about last place. That's reserved for the New York Jets.
All right.
You need to stop that.
All right, Stephen A. Smith can go and take a long walk off a short pier. Dude, Matt, I've been using that line at work. I've been using that at work. I am so frosted. Screw this guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about half the time in football anyway. He's like, Denzel Mims, he can play. Did you watch last season? Like, clearly, like, all Jet fans were upset about Denzel Mims not being able to play. And like, okay, you don't have any idea that we're getting Becton back, Lawson back, Curry back, Joyner back. Bite me. Ugh.
He doesn't know. But listen, seriously, I mean, with everything else aside, how can anyone listen to that? Like, I had the urge to shut that off 3 separate times. My hand moved. And not because of what I can't listen to that. I really don't get it. I swear, maybe I'm just an old fogey these days. I don't. Somebody needs to explain to me why that is what they want to have swirling through their ear holes. I don't get it. What is it about this fucking guy? He never shuts up. He's always got something to say. And people actually, I couldn't even listen to that. What is that?
Dude,
tell me. Somebody help me.
First Take in particular is the reason I made my channel. That was something that just irritated me to no end. That like it was Stephen A. and Skip. When there was the two of them, I was like, all right, I'm done with these clowns. They just keep like spouting out all this bullshit. the fact that he had all those stats queued up, oh, last in this, last in that. He read the cue cards. He knew exactly what his agenda was going to be. He wants to get Jet fans fired up. He saw exactly how fired up we got with Brady Quinn and the CBS crew. He's trying to do the same thing. This guy's a fucking clown.
Yep.
Matt, your thoughts?
It's the same thing. Sorry.
He's not Stephen A. Smith, the Fox Sports guys. They are entertainers. They are not like, you shouldn't be going to them for legitimate sports conversations, because it's okay, you take this side, I'm gonna take this side, and we're gonna try to go viral. That's what it is. They are trying to, it's this, as you said, it's why we do this. It's exactly why. But he went through, he mentioned Denzel Mims was the first name that he mentioned. I love Mims, but like, come on, what are we doing here? And yeah, you rattled off all these stats, but like you said, what intern cherry picked that and put it on the teleprompter for him to read? It's so like, oh my God, you can't like take any of that seriously is the point that we have to come away with. Like, yeah, we can get mad at it and be like, this is stupid, but don't take that as a Jet fan and be like, oh yeah, Stephen A is right. Like, we have no shot
no way.
this year. Yeah.
Dude, it's a clown show. It's absolutely a clown show. This is like a guy trying to drive clicks, which I get. Like, look, there's an algorithm for them too, and it makes sense. But dude, it's just super frustrating to hear him talk about this sort of shit and really know that he's so full of it. He doesn't know anything about it. I think there's a higher likelihood the Patriots end up at the bottom of the division than it is the Jets. I don't think it's that different, but I do think that there's aside from Buffalo, Jets, Miami, Patriots. It wouldn't shock me to see any one of those teams in second. It wouldn't shock me to see any of those teams in fourth place. So to say the Jets are reserved for fourth place, and we haven't been talking about a championship perspective since Namath, let alone we went to 3 championship games in a stretch of, 12 years? Bite me. Absolutely bite me. Ugh. Stupid.
It's just a funny thing, man. I mean, look, that's why, box scores and statistics, like, yes, they're important. Yes, we look at it, but they don't tell a story like that. That's just the truth. Now, underneath everything, the Jets have sucked for just over a decade. So a lot of it, what are we supposed to expect, right? But like, just my whole thing with this kind of stuff is like, how can anyone listen to that? Jets or not. Like, the only thing I've ever heard him say that made any sense, fair enough, I don't listen to him, but he swirls around every now and then. But the only thing I ever heard him say that I thought he had some balls and it made some sense is when he said Adam Gase looks high. He said, let's be real here, the guy looks high. That was the only thing I've ever heard. I can't even hear that. So like you said, dude, man, Jets fans, when the fuck are we going to learn that the entire NFL keeps us on a cyclical thing? They have to talk about the Jets in a certain period of time because it keeps their ratings up, because we respond. If we ignored all these guys, the Rich Ciminis, the Stephen A. Smiths, the fucking Country Club Connor Hughes, all these guys that don't know shit, if we just ignored them, they would be gone or they would change their narrative. We keep the narrative going, man. That's it. That's it.
You know where they should come
suck.
to get their Jets news?
Where?
Oh, yeah.
These 3 guys right here. You guys got a spot you could go to. Chris drops in, says, going to week 1 from San Diego. Hope to see you there. Chris, you better reach out to us. We'll let everyone know where we wind up going and what's going on with us. But it sounds like initially we're going to be hanging out with Sack Exchange and the Jets Lounge and some of the guys from Jet Nation. Hopefully they're all kind of in the same area. We haven't really worked it out yet, so we'll let everyone know. But yeah, we'll definitely be at week 1. We've just locked it in. Actually, yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it was. I forget when I texted you guys. But yeah, we'll be there. Jake says, it's media in general and why I canceled cable to watch YouTube. They're all clowns. He's a human clickbait. Screw him. That's what they do. Yeah, I'll be honest. That's the reason, or he's one of the main reasons that a lot of us started YouTube channels. It's like, I can't, like, this guy's on prime time, like, daytime television. Like, if you go to, a cafe, you go to a bar, you go to, you just hanging around the house, you flip it on. I don't even remember what the first take time was, but it was something around 10 o'clock. And there's like, I don't know. You see all the clips and everything like that, and you see how they battle against each other. Like the fact that they'd never agree on anything should trigger something in your mind like, oh, this is a set up argument. Like they're each taking a side and they're going to try and polarize people as much as possible. It's what TV's all about. And I think having those type of stats thrown at us from Stephen A without the context of everything behind it, knowing, hey, rookie head coach, rookie coordinator, rookie quarterback, all the injuries, like all this shit that happened without talking about like the Tampa Bay game. Like the Jets went toe to toe with the Super Bowl champs with an injured roster. I'm not going to bring that up because that doesn't steer the narrative the right way.
Right.
No. But you're,
You
like, the thing before I started working for Odds Checker, I taught broadcasting at a college, and I'm not going to claim to be like this broadcasting guru or anything, but I've talked to a lot of people in the industry, and there were a lot of adjunct professors who are former media people. And a sports guy, I won't say who it is because I don't think that's fair, said that at this point Stephen A. Smith is just playing a parody of himself. He's in too deep, and it's gotten too big, and it's just he's got to top himself next time after next time to stay at that point. But it works. I mean, clearly it's people will hate watch you. That's the thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, he gets a ton of money from ESPN because his show has ratings and people watch it. So
Yeah, they love to argue.
If
They
you
love
look
to, like,
closely enough, you
hate
can
it.
almost see the fingertips through like his hand for the puppet hand that's going up through him and to be like the Muppet.
yeah,
Like you can almost see the fingertips coming out of the mouth there.
yeah.
Drives me bonkers.
Hey, let me just
Red-
say something to
Yeah, go for it.
Jay Perez. Jay Perez, with all due respect, my friend, I appreciate the compliments and all that stuff, but I'm talking about something much, much bigger. If you like Connor Hughes, like him. If you like Rich Cimini, like him. Okay, I've been a Jets fan for 40 years. I've been reading guys like Rich Cimini because that was all we had. We didn't have the internet. He has been spinning the narrative to the negative for over 30 years, bro. Okay. And I'm going to talk about it until it stops. Okay. If it doesn't stop, then I'm going to keep going. It doesn't belittle me. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with talking about Rich Cimini. I'm fine with talking about Connor Hughes when they say stupid shit. And if you don't like that, that's fine too. You don't have to like that I say it, but it doesn't belittle me. I'm completely okay with saying that stuff. I don't feel belittled. I don't think less of myself. Truth is, I don't even think all that much of myself to begin with. So there's that. But when they stop doing it, then I'll stop doing it. My whole thing, my take, just the way I want to be, is that I like to draw people's attention to what's really going on. That's it. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. It's okay.
I will say this: the arguments that we get into with, seeing like someone creates a stupid tweet or a stupid story, and we're like, you gotta be kidding me. It creates a video and a conversation. It's one of the things I do love about sports because you can have these arguments and there's statistics and there's analysis, there's depth beyond like the black and white. Everything's not black and white. So to see certain things, like I know we've all made a bunch of videos. Cimini makes something, Hughes makes something, and it's like I don't agree with that. Like this doesn't seem to register. It's not what I would do. And then sometimes we see that, hey, we're totally right, and so other times it's like, hey, look, I whiffed. It definitely happens. I think the thing I like most about the YouTube channels and the Twitter spaces and the Facebook groups and things like that is you're more likely to get someone who's passionate, who like will care about what's getting put out there, as opposed to someone who's being paid to create controversy. I think that's where
the difference.
I think that's where they lose me on some of the newspaper headlines and things like that. I mean, look, I'm guilty of creating a clickbaity type thumbnail or things of that nature, but I want to provide the context with it that you may not be able to describe in 140 characters on a tweet. I don't know. Just interesting shit. Red John
Yeah.
says, if you could add one former Jet to this squad, which Jet would it be? Mine's defensive tackle, Chris Jenkins. I love me some Chris Jenkins. That would not be the one I would add. At this point in time, it's got to be... God, I mean, if you're talking historic Jets, you're talking probably Gastineau or Klecko or one of the edge rushers, as deep as our defensive line is.
Chris Jenkins.
I think that's probably where I'd go. I mean, like, it's hard not to say Revis or Mangold. Like, if you could give me Mangold in his prime or Mawai in their prime to help Zach Wilson, I could do that as well. I would take either of those guys over Jenkins, as much as I like Jenkins. Matt, is there a player you would add to this roster historically to make us better?
Dwayne Robertson.
What?
Yeah.
No.
What?
No.
That's the guy.
I like where you were going with edge, but I think my answer would be prime David Harris, because linebackers stink. This linebacking room is still not very good. And I was trying to think of probably like the best Jets linebacker that I've had the privilege to see. So I would say prime David Harris.
Prime David Harris is good. He was never super fast. So maybe I'd slide that to like prime Brian Cox or like something like, before he went to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Or not, was he the Steelers? No, Farrier was the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
God, Demario, God, linebacker's a good one. We need linebacker help. Harris is a good one. Greenby, what about you? If you could add a historic Jet to this team, who are you taking?
Well, if we're going to do a prime David Harris, the sad part about that is it's only 2 years. That's the sad part about it, 2, maybe 3. He got fat quick. It's really broke my heart because we got rid of Jonathan Vilma for him, which was bad. If I'm gonna go in the same avenue though, I originally thought Gastineau. That's just my dude. He's the best dude. Gastineau was fucking unbelievable. But I gotta say, I think Mo Lewis is the best linebacker that we've ever had. 12 straight years. Mo Lewis would be amazing on this team, and he gets no love, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I think it's just silly that we do that. So I think, a prime Mo Lewis would be ridiculously beneficial for us.
What if we throw a curveball and we say prime Mekhi Becton misses one snap his whole career?
Ooh, good answer.
I didn't even think of that until just now. Man, there's different areas you could go. Do you know what safety? The best safety that I've seen in the last 15 years or so that I wish we had, I really liked Kerry Rhodes. I was so frosted when we got rid of him. I thought he was such a ball hawk of a safety, and I know there was issues with him and Rex, but man, he was fun to watch. And he's probably not someone on the historic level that you'd want to have, but he's the type of player I would love to have in this defense.
I see why
I do love Chris Jenkins too, man. Chris Jenkins is the thing about Chris Jenkins, dude. He was nothing short of a man amongst boys out there, but he never played. I mean, he had like that 1 year with us. The rest of his time was like so disappointing.
2009, I think, right? I think it was his first year with us, and then like the next 1 or 2 years, he was just constantly injured. He was impressive, really good. The only reason I wouldn't take him is just because of the depth at the defensive tackle position that we have now, which is, I guess, almost maybe the argument for not going edge. I don't know.
But let me tell you, Chris Jenkins is better than anybody we have on our team right now.
I would say so. Better than any of our defensive tackles, for sure. I think edge is a different beast.
Yeah, but, it's like, if you brought Chris Jenkins on, you got to lose Nathan Shepard, though. So,
well, hold on, I do that. But if we're talking like incremental difference, I think the edge rusher, the linebacker, the safety, those are probably the 3 positions that create more of an impact now.
Yeah,
especially given the weakness at linebacker and safety. But I think you're right.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. The thing is, we don't know what our edge is, dude. Theoretically, we could have the best edge group that we've had since, Abraham and Ellis were young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
We might have that right now. Now, we might not. Okay. We could
Sure.
have just another in a long list of busts. That could be here too. But the truth is our edge might be okay. I'll tell you where we're most likely not okay. It's linebacker and safety. Safety, well, and we could. I mean, maybe Sherwood is a stud. Maybe, Pinnock, because I don't know what they're doing at safety. But who knows, right? But I would love a good Mo Lewis, even if Marvin Jones, holy shit. Do you remember how hard Marvin Jones was a fucking bullet, bro? He ran full speed. Anytime there was the ball there, Marvin Jones was there and he came in full speed. Like we haven't seen that in so long, man. This has to be the year for some of that stuff.
Can we add prime players that were Jets that were not prime in our career? Like, can we add Brett Favre and Danian Tomlinson?
And then use his prime? Yeah. Brett Favre, 14 years before we got him.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Pat Dunn, brother. Dude, he says, never take NFL opinions from an NBA analyst. Talk about Stephen A. Smith. That is a great point. There's a lot of times where I'm sitting there, I shouldn't say a lot of times, because I really don't watch much ESPN at this point anyway, but where I used to sit and watch Stephen A. Smith and be like, wow, this guy knows basketball. And then they start talking about football, and you watch some of the like bloopers of him like talking about football on YouTube, and it's like him talking about the Chiefs and how this player is going to affect this and the versus the Chargers, and you're like, those players are not in the league anymore. Like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. This guy's like full of it. I'm not a big fan at all. Thomas Cahill drops in, says, former Jet, who we need now, Mo Lewis. Green Bean, Thomas is with you right there.
Yeah, man. Dude, I feel for you guys who couldn't have watched Mo Lewis. Like, I mean, it is. We have eras, right? Like we are who we are. We watched what we watched. Mo Lewis, when he came on the scene, was instantaneously an impact. Like, it was like the whole league was like, wow, the Jets got some young linebackers. We also had a guy named Joe Kelly at the time who wore one of those big neck braces, like looked all big and shit.
Yeah,
me too.
Cox had that one. I remember that being a big thing.
Well, Cox had that big square thing that came up to the middle of his helmet, right? But this was like a round, similar kind of thing now. But yeah, dude, like when they were on the field, it was like Mo Lewis, when he got here, was instant. He was an instant success. And there were times, man, when he was considered the best player in all of New York, numerous years. Like, he was the best defensive player in the city, both teams. And we just couldn't seem to get him a good enough team until Parcells came. And then he, at least he got to wrap up his career on a positive note. But Mo Lewis was an absolute animal. And he was good at rushing the passer. He's got like 53 sacks in his career. Like, he was so good, dude. So we haven't seen linebacker. It sucks because for a long time, linebackers was like what we did. You know what I mean? We always had good middle linebackers, like somebody to kind of be the police in there. And then all of a sudden, we just kind of fell off. We don't have anybody. What's his name? Mosley is very, very good. And who knows, man? We get him some help. Maybe he's, back to that form. I thought he did some good things last year, but it looks different. It's just not the same animal that I want.
I think we're going to see a better Mosley this year, and we're going to run into a conversation. We're going to say, hey, do we restructure Mosley, or do we take it on the chin, keep him for another year and have him at that high salary? I think there was a lot of, hey, our secondary's bad. We can't stop the run. He's caught in this in-between sort of flux, trying to mask some of the deficiencies we had. I think Mosley played better than his stats indicated, and I'm hoping we get to see a better version of Mosley this year statistically because of the increases we had at the other positions. Kevin C. drops in with a really cool thought process here. Or not thought process, question. He says, who covers Bateman week 1, Sauce or Reed? I don't know. So here's the thing. Do you go with Reed, because Bateman's year 2 right now? So if you put Reed on him, there's a dominant cover corner that could lock down a younger player. Sauce physically is just such a dominant style of corner with the 6'3", the length. I think it depends who else is on the field for them, but I would err on the side of giving Sauce the lighter assignments earlier on until he proves himself, and then once he kind of clicks, like we already have a top 10 corner in DJ Reed. Why upset the apple cart when you don't have to? Or do guys stay on their respective side of the field? Maybe that's something they look into as well. I don't like that style of defense because it's very predictable, and the offense can then dictate their matchup based on which corner they don't want to go to. That was my issue with the Seattle defense, with Richard Sherman being on the one side of the field, with the Raiders defense with Nnamdi Asomugha on the one side of the field. Matt, what are your thoughts? Who covers Bateman week 1, or who would you prefer to cover Bateman week 1, Sauce or Reed?
I get my preference would be Sauce, but I'm not sold that they're going to be strictly like man. I think they're going to be playing a lot of zone, so I don't think it's going to be like, in the Revis days when he would just cover that. He'd have cover that one guy and that was it. I think they will play some man in big spots, and maybe on third downs we see Sauce going over there and shadowing their other team's number ones, but I don't think it's going to be exclusively like a number one on your opposing team number one type of deal.
Yeah, I could see something like similar to like, okay, if they think Reed can go out on an island and then maybe Sauce or whatever needs a little bit of help, maybe you roll a safety over that way and you kind of almost bracket them and create other different types of coverage looks. Greenbean, what about you? Who do you hope covers Bateman week 1, Sauce or Reed?
I say stick our third or fourth wide receiver on that bum and call it a day. Fucking guy. He has what, 40 receptions and a touchdown last year? All right. Okay. Stick Eccles.
Yeah, dude, I guess that's a good point, right? Like, I'm not so concerned about who's covering Bateman as much as I'm concerned about who's stopping Lamar. Like, I want Quincy Williams shadowing Lamar the entire day. I don't want him in coverage at all. His coverage skills are horrible. Just have him lock in on Lamar, follow him sideline to sideline. Don't let him pass the 4-yard from line of scrimmage mark. Just keep him within that. You've done your job. We got to stop the run. That's the biggest thing against the Ravens.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Bateman.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Now, and all jokes aside, I happen to like Bateman a whole bunch, but I don't think he's at the point in his career that like he's the focal point. You nailed it. Lamar Jackson he's a guy, he can win the game by himself. He can. Mm-hmm. So you have to make sure that you don't let him do that. You take everybody else away so it's not easy for him. Make him earn it. Make him huff and puff and fight for every single yard, and you'll get ahead of it if our offense can function. All right, but it's not Bateman that scares me.
Those tight ends are scary too.
That's exactly where I was going to go, Matt. I was going to say I'd rather Sauce on one of the tight ends than like worry about the receivers. Like I can deal with the safeties over the top, but like bracketing, or maybe not even bracketing, but just stopping the tight ends and shadowing Lamar the whole day, I think that's going to be the focal point you have to kind of pay attention to, not the wide receivers.
Yeah, and they brought in a whole bunch more tight ends. They're like, telling you, man, you guys are about to see it. The NFL's going to shift. We're going to see fucking 14 personnel out there. I'm telling you, it's coming.
Well, dude, everyone's going speed, right? And once you get once you pull away and you have all the speed, now you have to change it up and go with the power.
That's right.
So like when they're showing nickel, it's like, hey, look, we're going to hit you in the mouth with a run.
Correct. And then what happens is you got 4 little speedy guys dragging on the ankles of your 270-pound tight end while he laughs all the way to the end zone. Just dragging little tiny fast dudes down the field. That's what I want to see. You got to stay ahead. We've historically, the last, I don't know, at least since Rex left, right? We have been a catch-up team. We've been trying to adjust to what the NFL is doing. We're always behind. Like, don't forget the reason, at least part of the reason that 𝐒𝐿𝐫𝐞𝐞 took Jamal Adams and Marcus May first and second round is because he's trying to accommodate. He's trying to have somebody cover the tight ends. That window was already changing back to the speed. And he's just now addressing the 2 tight end sets. So it's like, we're behind it. And my deepest hope is that the Jets right now, what we're seeing is a team that's about to get ahead of it. And that would make me happy, man. If we can get ahead and be a part of the new phase of offense, because it is cyclical. It is cyclical.
Eric drops in, says, forget a player, bring back Gase, 17-0. I hate the Gase hire, but it's hard to argue against it when you wind up with a GM like Joe Douglas. So let's talk about this real quick, real brief. Would you be willing to accept the 2 years of Gase because of getting Douglas, or would you rather have those 2 years back and try something different? I think for me, as painful as those Gase years have been, Douglas is easily the best GM I've ever seen, and that includes Parcells. It is no questions asked. Douglas.
All right, Douglas. They got to start winning some games then, because
that's fair. That's fair.
I love Douglas. I think he's done a really good job, but I think they need to start winning some games then, because his record isn't great. And I know it wasn't his team, and he cleared a lot of stuff out, but it's
right. Come on,
it's complicated.
You can't do that though. You can't do that.
The Facebook relationship status, right? Do they still do that? Is that a thing? It's complicated.
What's that? Oh, they do that still? I don't know. I never had a Facebook
I haven't really
status.
Focused on that in a while.
I think I'm single on Facebook. I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like, look, you can correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree. It looks to me like this is the first year that the Jets were really making aggressive moves. Like it looks as though they feel like they can compete. This looks like the year for me. All the assets, all the cleaning of the cap dollars, kind of, the most of the 1 year kind of fill it contracts are gone. We have a couple, but it's by and large, it's all like young core type players, whether it's DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, or if it's the rookie wide receiver or the Sauce Gardner or whoever. We have AVT, we got Becton, we got Lake and Tomlin. So like, it looks to me like this, everything was pointing to this year. That's what it looks to me. And this is the year that they're going to compete. Like look, everybody's frustrated with the losses, but I really don't believe that, putting the record on him right now while he's in the middle of a teardown is good for us to do. I just don't. It's like, we gotta understand, and I know Matt does. That's the thing. So now, if we go into this year and we're let's say what Brady Quinn said, our season's over before the bye, we got problems. We have a big fucking problem, and it's more than likely going to end up being on the coaching, which would be a problem. Okay, a big problem. And but it looks to me like this is the first year. Not to say they didn't want to compete, they didn't want to win. Of course they did, but this is the year that, like, they didn't worry about their 5th round picks. They didn't trade back to acquire more assets. Everything was to get the best quality of player because we're ready. Now, are we ready to win the Super Bowl? No, but we're ready to compete. And that's why they did it this way. Why would you grab a running back in the second? And not only a running back in the second, but trading up to get him because we're ready to compete. Why would you take, trade up into the first using your other 5th? Because we're ready to compete. We want the guys right now. We're ready. We're ready to go. And that's what it looks like to me.
So when I look at like what Douglas has done, this seems to me like the precursor. This is the foreplay before the full-on AFC East penetration. That's what's going to happen. So this is if Joe Douglas and Zach Wilson and these guys can show proof of concept, that's what this is. This is a proof of concept year. Then next year, now you get the benefit of free agency, because we've been staying out of free agency for the most part and going with the second tier guys because we don't want to blow our free agent dollars on that. And I still don't want to in the future. But I think if you prove proof of concept this year, Robert Saleh is the coach, Zach Wilson is the quarterback, this team is on the upswing. Now you're starting to get guys that are coming in at a discount, or guys that are coming in at, they want to play here. It's not necessarily that they're going for those high dollars. Kind of like what Salah said. We got guys that want to be here. It's not guys that are the highest paid. It's guys that want to be here. And to your point, Green Bean, these are signings, Laken Tomlinson, trading up for Jermaine Johnson, trading up for Breece Hall, drafting, a corner in the top 5, drafting a wide receiver in the top 10. These are moves that teams that want to start winning start making. And they want to win now. But I think it's a precursor to everything that's about to happen.
Agreed.
More so than necessarily like the win right now, if that makes sense. Support the quarterback, create the excitement.
Correct. Yeah, that's how I see it. But that's why it's hard for me to have that discussion. Like, what his record? Like, what he has 6 wins in 2 years. Well, it's like, well, the focus was tearing the shit out of this place. Like, again, I'd like to say the joke. We can't argue about the color of the curtains. I hate the color of the curtains when he's still pouring the concrete for the foundation. And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll get to the curtains. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying.
That's not a bad thing. Shout out. I literally picked this beer the other day purely because it says Stacy's mom on it. And if you don't know Stacy's mom, she does have it going on, and she's all I want. And I've waited for so long.
Yeah.
Well Stacy, can't you see?
I love that shit.
Oh,
great tune.
I love that song. There's not too many opportunities that song comes on where I'm not belting out a belly chorus.
You know where those guys are from, right?
They're from Fountains of Wayne.
Wayne.
Yeah, I used to drive past it at my old apartment.
That's right. We used to drive by it every way on the way to the stadium. Every single time. My grandmother lived over there. So I would have, what they have on Christmas? They have the big Santa Claus. Ever since I was a little kid, I waited for I knew it was Christmas season. They had like a 50-foot Santa. I knew it was Christmas when Fountains of Wayne put their Santa out.
So DA asks, how does Stacy taste? Yum.
Oh.
There we go. We gotta be careful.
That's actually really good. So it's a Citra IPA. So citrusy. I'm a big fan of the citrus stuff, but really good actually. That's the first time I've actually had it. I've had Evil Genius before. Fun fact. And I'll let you guys know when we wind up doing it. But we do a golf outing at Black Bear, the course I work at. That's a craft beer open. So it's like if you're a big craft beer guy, lots of fun. Definitely a good time. But we've had Evil Genius there before, and that's Evil Genius Brewing, Stacy's mom. Colin dropping in with some knowledge, celebrating 16 months of membership, says, any former Jet, give me Ed Reed in his prime.
There you go.
That's the winner. Got it. Check it off the list.
Oh, right. Yeah, if we're doing that.
Right.
Sure. Hey, and I want to remind everybody, we could have had him, but nobody wanted to fucking take a safety in the first round. That's right.
You're right.
We passed on Ed Reed, everybody.
This is Green Bean being very upset that we did not take a safety.
Green Bean revenge game.
What's up, dude?
Not a safety. One safety.
I got you. Bumtaz says, Mo Lewis knocked out Bledsoe and gave us Brady. F him. I will never forgive him.
Yeah.
Look, I can't I'm not upset with Mo Lewis because of knocking out Bledsoe. Because when it happened, I remember being a kid being like, yeah, the Jets knocked out the quarterback. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then, like, a 6th round pick comes in and wins the most Super Bowls of fucking any quarterback that's ever been.
Yeah, dude, give me a fucking break,
Let's go.
Like, you know what I mean? Give me a break. The guy was a fucking Jet his whole career, 12 years of almost never being hurt. He got tons of sacks, tons of tackles for a loss, team leader, and you bring it down to one play when he fucking destroyed a Super Bowl starting quarterback. That is what's called dumb luck that a 6th round pick came in and ended up fucking being Tom Brady. You better recognize your true greats, Mumtaz. This is bullshit what we're doing to Mo Lewis for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bunch of revision. It's a bunch of revisionist history. I don't like it. He's a great player.
I'm going to create some type of thing. When someone starts getting heated up, I'm going to click a little button on here, and it's going to light up red.
Get them red.
Like little flames are coming up or something like that. I love it. Green Bean with the heat.
Fucking Mumtaz. Come on, Mumtaz. I got respect for you. You're hurting me. You can't poke me in my Mo Lewis on my Mo Lewis button.
Mumtaz has another good super chat coming up. We'll get to that in just a second. Masuk drops in, says, being a longtime Jets fan, it does feel different. Let the mainstream media sleep on us. Breeze Hall plus Michael Carter equals Freeman McNeil and Johnny Hector, something Green Bean can relate to. Go Jets. We've talked about this a little bit. I've seen Matt talk about it specifically, is the too much hype on the Jets bandwagon after the draft, and there's concern that like we're going to be feeling ourselves a little bit too much. I like having the underdog role. I like when guys don't, root for us. They think we're going to be down. I want Brady Quinn on the bulletin board at MetLife Stadium. I want Stephen A. Smith on the bulletin board at MetLife Stadium. That's what I want to see. I want the underdog. Let's go outside and punch someone in the mouth week 1. Green Bean, your thoughts?
Yeah. Dude, now he's bringing up another one. He did it right, but I'm going to warn everybody. Don't you ever talk about fucking Freeman McNeil with slander. I'm not going to have it. Okay.
I don't think he's talking. I think it's a good thing.
No, he's not. He's not. I just took this opportunity to warn anybody thinking about it. All right. Because I'm in the mood to fight all of a sudden. So, yeah, man, Johnny Hector and Freeman McNeil were such a great 1-2 punch, and it was fun times, man. I think Breece Hall is the best running back we've bought, at least pedigree and prospect-wise. The best running back that we've brought onto this team since Curtis Martin. As much as I liked some of them, I liked some running backs we had, and we had some decent ones, but Breece Hall has the potential to be our first legit, franchise back. And I can't wait to see what him and Michael Carter do to defenses this year, man. It's all about LaFleur, bro. LaFleur's got to use it. We have some serious weaponry right now. And whether it's the tight ends, the backs, the wide receivers, all that stuff, we got it, man. Just put Zach in a position to use these guys. Let Breece Hall show the league why we traded up for him. That's it.
So no one in the stream, aside from one person, is going to understand what I'm about to do. So we'll see. It's not Becca. It's someone else. Matt, your thoughts on the media sleeping on us and how you feel about the Jets being an underdog or being overly hyped.
I live in the underdog role. I like to not have expectation and blow people away. That is my favorite thing. Now, my fear is not that I dislike being talked about in a positive light, because I feel like that's what people misunderstood. It's that these unreasonable expectations are going to be put on this team, and if they don't achieve it, then it would be looked at as a failure. Because I don't know, if RG3 was talking about being a playoff team and winning 11 games or something like that, and if they go out and win, I don't know, 8 games and don't make the playoffs, but are a top half of the league offense and, take strides on the defensive side, then I think we should be able to say, hey, that was a positive because Zach looks like our guy and we know that for sure. But if that spins to a LOL, this team couldn't even make the playoffs after adding 3 first-round picks and all this talent and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I don't want to see.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna, that's actually nice foresight, Matt. That's good. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly. Right. Because then it'll be, hey, we know for sure Zach Wilson's the guy, and they won 8 games and he had this historical Jets quarterback season, but it'd be you still only won 8 games. You're under 500.
Yeah. Right. And am I not allowed to talk about that narrative, chat? I can't talk about it because people are going to get their feelings hurt. Fuck out of here, man.
Mumtaz drops in with a good super chat, and I like this one a lot. He says, Riley Reef still out there. We need a swing tackle. I do think we bring in an additional tackle at some point throughout now and the beginning of week 1. I don't think this roster's finished. Now, I think the Jets have it's $13 million in salary cap space, so there's going to have to be a little bit of movement here. But I do think it's important to bring in a tackle. I don't want to rely on Max Mitchell or Edoga or McDermott. I like Becton, but I don't trust that we're going to stay healthy on those two. So if you can bring in an additional tackle like a Morgan Moses, doesn't have to be Morgan Moses, but someone within a certain deviation of that skill set, I think would be critically important. Matt, how are you feeling about the tackle position?
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to wait a little bit. I think Green Bean's the one who mentioned this, by the way, but in June feels like the sweet spot for when like some of these cuts start to come out, and then you have a little extra money, and then maybe the Jets cut somebody else, and then they have even more money to bring somebody on. But I'm not opposed to adding another veteran in here. I like Max Mitchell, but outside of that, I don't want to see Connor McDermott or Chuma Edoga at all.
I'm super fired up about Ravens' big trust. I'm going through things. He says, Jet fans, you know you're in here talking about a team that hasn't been relevant in a long time. He meant to say hasn't. He wrote haven't. And I think it's some sort of like big dumb Raven kind of a thing going on right there. And that's okay because we're going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Punch him in the mouth. Mr. Downtown says,
let me just say, dude, please. You know what I mean? Like, isn't it funny that guys want to come in? Dude, we're called worse by ourselves. Like, there's nothing you can say that's going to come in here and somehow hurt our feelings, bro. It's just not real. You want to do that? Go to a more fickle fan base, please.
Dude, there's a reason. So I was making, I don't think I did it this year. I usually do an F, Marry, Kill and like an F, Marry, Kill series for free agency. And I think I didn't do it because I'm already married. Last year, the years leading up to it, I was not married. But was always the, I have a thing. It was like 1, 2, or 3 fighter jets. But if you didn't get a fighter jet, you got a butt fumble. And like Tyrion Lannister says, and whether you guys are Game of Thrones nerds or not, or if you hate it because the way it ended, wear it on your sleeve. That way no one can make fun of you or something along those lines.
Right.
I will wear the butt fumble on my sleeve and no one can make fun of me because I'm already, there. I'm at that point. So I get what you're saying, Green Bean.
Right.
No one can make fun of us more than we make fun of ourselves. Look at the New York media. Right. They rip us apart. We rip ourselves apart.
Please.
It's okay.
Okay. You're in here. Yeah, we know. We're aware of what's going on here. We're more aware than most people are about their teams. That I can tell you.
Mr. Downtown drops in and says, why should we hope for Mo Lewis? He cursed this team for 18 plus years.
Oh my God.
By knocking out Bledsoe and giving Tom Brady a chance to shine. Oh, the pain. #Jets. That's the thing.
Please.
Mo Lewis's most famous thing is making the way for Tom Brady. And it sucks because that's not what he was best. It's what he is best known for, but it's not what he was best at. And Green Bean, I think you could talk a little bit to this, how good Mo Lewis was. And just the, to have his career whittled down to he's the guy that knocked out Drew Bledsoe is kind of a kick in the balls.
It is. It's the worst. You know what I'm going to say, Mr. Downtown? It's disrespectful to quite literally one of our greatest players. You're whittling a 12-year dominant career down to one play, which I'm going to share with you. Mr. Downtown, I don't know how old you are or whatever, but I'm going to tell you, 100% of Jets fans were ecstatic when that play happened. Ecstatic. It was like the best thing ever, man. Okay. We knocked their quarterback out of the game. Now, Bledsoe was about to get traded to the Bills the next year because of Tom Brady and all that stuff. But at that time, Drew Bledsoe had just been to the Super Bowl. I think it was 2 years, maybe 3 years earlier. Okay. He was one of the upper quarterbacks in the league. What happened after Mo Lewis did his job is not a curse. Now, which curse is it not the Namath curse anymore? Now it's the Mo Lewis curse. What is this? What are we talking about? The guy was a dominant linebacker. He did his job perfectly, crushed their quarterback when given the rare opportunity that the guy didn't slide out of bounds. He fucking ripped his entire upper torso off of his body. And now we're going to, like Matt said, revise it and say it's his fault. It's what you want him to do. I hate it.
Yeah, I want a pit bull like snarling at the other quarterback. Like, look, I'm not hoping for injury, but you knock out the other team's starting quarterback, like there's blood in the water. Like that. Like, I'm sorry, that is definitely something that like I remember when it happened, and I was younger too. I was probably, I don't even know if I was 10 at that point, but like I was very like amped up. I was cognizant of what happened, and there was an exciting feeling for that. No one knew that this 6th round pick was going to be like the second coming of, I don't even know, whatever great quarterback. This guy, like Tom Brady hitting, I don't put that on Bill Belichick so much, because there's no way Bill Belichick took Tom Brady in the 6th round knowing he would be the quarterback he was. If you knew what Tom Brady was going to be, he'd be the number 1 overall pick. So there's no way. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, like Mo Lewis being the guy he was and doing what he did, way more,
think
props
about
to
it.
him in his career than just the hit.
Right. Could you imagine so are we going to get mad at any player who does their job with the team that's on the field? You tackle somebody and that puts somebody else in, he ends up being good, and you blame the player that tackled him? Like it's literally makes
it doesn't make any sense. Come on, what are we doing?
It's the curse. It's because of how successful Brady was, is why, like the transition to what it was, is the reason why people are so salty about it. But like Mo Lewis was such a better player than just that one hit. And that one hit, like Green Bean said, like people were fired up. Like as much as you're not rooting for injury, like I'm rooting for the other team to not do well, and having their backup quarterback is that. 100%.
That's right. Yeah. And you say David Harris was better than Mo Lewis. I hate when people put me in positions to bash one of my players, because I like David Harris too. But dude, they weren't even on the same. I mean, it started. I'm pretty sure I remember that Mo Lewis was Rookie of the Year. I'm trying to look over stats now. It's been a long time. I can't even remember. But dude, Mo Lewis was a stud for 12 years on the Jets. And guess what? Guess what else he didn't do? He didn't go to New England when the Jets cut him either. Like
he's an all-pro,
like David Harris did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's an all-pro. I mean, dude, the guy. It's just crazy. Again, I don't know if Mr. Downtown ever watched him, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but anybody who watched Mo Lewis coming back and saying that, oh, he's the guy, it's just the silliest argument in the world. And I think it's disrespectful. The guy, think about that. He was like the end of an era of guys that didn't leave. They didn't play here for 3-4 years. You could have a Mo Lewis jersey, which I do, and you could have worn it for 12 years and still had him playing on the field. And you can wear it now because he never went anywhere else. Mm-hmm. He's a Jet. Why would we even look for these arguments? It's douchey, Mr. Downtown. I don't know what you're doing, buddy.
So I feel like I should have a little score counter in the top corner of the screen. I see a few Rangers comments. Rangers are up 3-1 on the Hurricanes with 9 minutes left in the third period. Going to tie the series up if everything holds true. So fingers crossed there for our Rangers fans. ZK drops in, says, given the feeling of culture and competency that JD and Salah bring, would you take 50% playoff rate, or do you call for heads rolling, and at what point? Okay. Whoa, hold on. I didn't know this was a thing. Sorry. Muttviles gifted 5 Jets Talk 24/7 memberships. That's a thing now? How does that work? I've never seen this before. Guess there's gifting subs on YouTube. Oh, man, that's friggin' cool. So, Muttviles, I'm going to figure out how to do that, and we're going to send it out to some people, or maybe you send it out, or I don't know who sends it out. I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm really excited. It's something I was hoping YouTube would do, because I'd love to give out a membership for a little bit. So that's really cool there. Sorry, confused. John was gifted a membership by Muttfiles. So Muttfiles can actually gift people memberships.
Look at that.
There's
something happening.
Muttfiles.
Look at this.
That's friggin' cool.
Some fucking magic.
Wow. Okay.
Squirmy got one.
So Muttfiles, fucking do it. Why not?
Muttfiles is on a
he gives one to Squirmy Weasel. Oh, dude, that's cool. Fears Grim gets one.
Yeah, Squirmy Weasel sounds like a guy who deserves it.
I think so. There's names that I would like to see pop up more frequently. For all you new members in the chat, drop in some JETS for all the new members. Zachary Berner was gifted a membership. And so was
Look at Mutt Viles.
Giraven Matisse. Matisse?
Look at him.
Wow.
He's out of
Okay, that's
control.
cool. Wow. That's fun. This is something I haven't seen before. So, Mutt Viles, you may have popped my cherry on this. And Rangers are up 4-1 now. So, hell yeah.
Yeah, and Mutt Viles, Ryan knows stuff, man. So if you're sneaking in the back door on Ryan, I gotta hand it to you.
There's not too many that sneak in the back door on Ryan, but
That's right.
oh jeez, that's where things get clipped. Yeah,
Very
no, wow, that's impressive. So very cool, Mutt Viles. You caught me off guard there. That boy says Mutt Viles is Oprah. You get a membership. You get a membership.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Ryan, is it okay? I want to do something. I want to bypass Nightbot and at least put Mutt Viles' name in the running.
Yes, absolutely. Mutt Viles gets in the running for the shirt giveaway. 100%.
I'll allow it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, back to business. ZK drops in and says, giving the feeling of culture and competency that JD and Salah bring, would you take 50% chance at playoffs, or do you call for heads rolling, and at what point? I'm not calling for any heads rolling, regardless of what happens this year.
Yeah.
I am very much on the side of the Steelers in that I really believe that having a cohesive unit and confidence in your coaching staff moving forward generates a better long-term option for your team. Like if you're the GM, you have a long-term vision. If you're the head coach, you need an immediate vision. And if you're a fan, you have the I need this now vision. And for me, I would 100% take a 50% playoff rate. Like that's higher than I think the Jets should have at this point in time based on the AFC and based on where we are at our team building perspective. But if you told me we could have, our name in the hunt in December, we're playing meaningful games in December, that means a lot to me. And I would say after this year, let's say Zach Wilson has a horrible situation. He doesn't play up to where we are hoping he's going to play up to. Then I would say next year we bring in some competition. Maybe it's a Jimmy Garoppolo, and you have him and Jimmy G fight it out. Whoever starts, or whoever wins starts. And if it's Jimmy G, then you need a quarterback. If it's not Jimmy G and Zach Wilson has stepped up, then I think you're all right. But there's no way I want heads to roll at any point during this offseason. Like that goes for Jeff Ulbrich as well. Like this is the first year he has a full complement of defensive weapons. And I could correct this partway through the year if he winds up getting smoked on every defensive call he makes and every defensive player that he's brought in. But I very much like where this team is headed, and I don't want heads to roll, and I don't want a playoff mandate. So I will take the 50% playoff rate because I think that's higher than we should have right now anyway. Matt, what are your thoughts?
So is the question a 50% chance of making the playoffs this year? I'm just a little confused. I
think it is. I would take it as this year, or would you take heads rolling? I think that's where he's going with this.
Okay. Yeah, there's not really a scenario where I see heads rolling after this year. And it kind of like when it goes back to when I said earlier about the regime needing to win. I think if they did struggle this year, I think that's when you see the seat get hot. Is at that point, if you are let's just say the Jets win 4 games this year, then I would say Salah and Douglas is in the hot seat and Wilson is in the hot seat going into 2023. If they look like what they did last year, we're giving up a ton of yards and Wilson struggles, then yeah, they're going to be on the hot seat going into the following year. The one that I have said before and that gets some pushback is I'm not sold that Douglas is going to get a second chance to draft a quarterback if things go poorly with Wilson. And the reasoning behind that is having that continuity and that alignment of having your general manager your coach and your quarterback kind of all on the same wavelength, because then you kind of get stuck in with like the Giants with Daniel Jones and this new regime, or like when Sam Darnold was here in Douglas's first year and with what's his name, Gase. So yeah.
Hold on, say that again. You don't think Joe Douglas should be able to take a second quarterback, or you think that I missed part of it.
I think if Zach Wilson isn't the guy, I don't think he will be afforded the luxury of taking another quarterback. I think he will be out of a job.
See, so I don't fully disagree, but I do disagree with that to an extent. If Joe Douglas's trades have been phenomenal, which they have been, if Joe Douglas's drafts have been phenomenal, which we're hoping to see, the 2021 is the outlier right now. Can 2022 be the same as 2021? I think is important. His waiver wire pickups have been good. His free agent pickups have been decent. I think if him as a GM overall is positive, like right now, I view Joe Douglas as probably our best GM that we've had. I would give him the opportunity of drafting or signing a second quarterback after. I don't know. I wouldn't say after this year. I'm giving Zach a full 3 years. Like if Zach flames out, but the rest of the roster looks good, I'm giving Joe Douglas the benefit of the doubt to make a move, whether that's be trading for a veteran or drafting another quarterback. But I think the Jets are in a position now where they weren't the last few years because of Joe Douglas. Greenbean, what are your thoughts? Does Joe Douglas get a second opportunity to bring in a franchise quarterback, whether it be through draft, free agency, or trade? Or you think you probably move on from him similarly to maybe the way that Maccagnan did, where he had his Hackenberg, he had his Sam Darnold draft?
Yeah. Well, I think Joe Douglas is going to be here for the 6 years, no matter what. So I think that these owners know and they can see the difference with what they've had here and what Joe Douglas is around the league. Like it's night and day. It's apples to oranges, man. So I think that he's not on the hot seat. I will buy that if it's like a 4-win season or something like that, that going into 2023, there's definitely someone on the hot. Like I would buy that there's going to be some stress, whether it's on Zach or it's on Saleh or some of the coordinators or whatever. But I don't think they're looking to overturn the apple cart on year 2. Of this regime. We're going into year 2. If they don't get it right yet, I don't think that they're looking to chop heads off. Now, as far as just the specific question, if Joe Douglas would get another crack at a quarterback, I think that he would, only because I think that the rest of the team is going to look significantly improved. Now, if they're not, let me rephrase that and say, if the team, you can see that Zach is the problem, then I think he's going to be allowed to get another quarterback going in here. But again, I don't think Joe Douglas is on the hot seat in the slightest, nor do I think Saleh is. I don't think it's contingent upon this year. I think 2023 could be more stressful, but I don't think anyone's on the hot seat this year. They're going to give this young organization more than a half an hour to get it right.
Yeah, that's sort of where I felt with Ulbrich last year, and maybe if there were a person that could get fired after this year, Ulbrich's probably the one I'd peg to be that person. But I'm with you guys, or at least like with Greenbean. I think the sum of everything that's happened, if Wilson is the weak link, like everyone thought Wilson was the second quarterback last year. Like I'm not going to fault Douglas for pulling the trigger on this guy, knowing the upside and everything that was coming from it. So I'm right there with you. Buffalo Jet fan drops in again. Dude, he says Samini sending his kids to college on trolling the Jets for 30 years and fans of other teams wasting their time in our chat. LOL. The Mo Lewis slander is insane. He's a top 10 Jet of all time. For those of you that are just tuning in, Buffalo Jet fan, Matt O'Leary, Greenbean, myself, Richie from Jets Media, Primetime and Tyson from Let's Talk Jets Radio, and Joe Blewett are going to be at week 1. So make sure you hang out with us and figure out where we're going to wind up being. But yeah, no. Screw Dick Chimney all damn day. Mutt Files says, can't predict how Brady was going to turn out when Drew went down. Also, didn't the Patriots have like Pro Bowl Hall of Fame defense there? Yeah, the beginning part of the Tom Brady era, the first 3 Super Bowls, 2001, 3, and 4, were very much defense Super Bowls. Like he had Rodney Harrison, he had Teddy Bruschi, he had Richard Seymour, like all these guys that are elite level defensive players. Tom Brady did the dink and dunk offense. 100% this was all on the defensive side of the ball. And then basically everything from like, was it 2007 with the Giants and Patriots? From then on is kind of where I determined like, this is Tom Brady arriving. He has been here for 8-9 years at this point. He understands the NFL. He understands everything that goes into it. Now this is the takeoff point. Green Bean, I'll throw this one to you. Do you think Tom Brady at the beginning part of his career was defensive heavy, or do you think he was always kind of the quarterback that he was always going to be?
No, I think they did it right. Don't forget the first Super Bowl that they won. Do you guys remember what Belichick did? They were not a team with a unit that was better than the neck. Like they ran out together. They didn't have the offense or defense. They did this whole thing where everybody just has to play as like a team. It's not the offense is better or the defense is better. Like they really focused on that sort of stuff because they weren't supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like they kind of had some interesting little turns to get them there. And they just look, that's where you got to hand it to Belichick, man. Like he handled all that stuff beautifully. Now I hated it, so even the word beautifully is hard for me to say, but that was really what they did. And then, like Ryan said, the defense was better than the offense for a while. It took Brady a couple years to be Tom Brady. But like you said, they gave him a lot of high percentage stuff in the beginning. And look, it's not that I remember it like it was yesterday, but that's what it was. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady right out of the gate. He just looked clearly like a starting quarterback. It was just like, wow, this guy can play. I remember when he came in that game after Bledsoe got hurt and he was like throwing fucking touchdowns. We were like, what's happening here? Why do we suck so bad? Like, why is there a 6th-string backup quarterback coming in, or 3rd-string, whatever, backup quarterback coming in and looking so good? Little did we know it was Tom Brady. But so he was always good, but it took a while for him to be, this guy that could cover up for everybody else's inadequacies. You know what I mean?
I just want to point out,
let me
John
say
is
this,
a very
Brian.
mean person. John says Ryan is to Bradley Cooper as Danny DeVito was to Arnold Schwarzenegger in
That's
Twins.
mean.
Oh, what a
why?
jerk.
Why do we say that? What is that?
Wow. What an aggressive
Let me change your
stance.
mindset. I want to just tell you that Mutt Viles is on Twitter right now giving an educational course on how to give gifts on YouTube. That's what
I'll
he's
be
doing.
honest,
He's
I
on
had
Twitter
no
right
idea this was a thing, and I cannot thank Mutt Viles enough for being like the fucking man, because this is something that I've been asking YouTube for forever, and Twitch was able to do it, and now the fact that I don't know if like creators can do it. At the very least, people that are members can do it, and that's at least a step in the right direction. So that's really fucking cool. Chris drops in. Jeremy, Jets Chaos with Jeremy, joined the economy tier. Thank you, Jeremy. I totally missed that one, so much appreciated. Chris says, forget the haters. We're going to punch a bunch of teams in the mouth and completely ruin their Sunday. We have actual talent. Jet up. Love you guys. Chris, you're the fucking man. Let's call a spade a spade. Kevin C says, have to agree with Matt. Wilson is the whole enchilada. If he whiffed on that number 2 pick, it's bad for JD. Plus, his free agency from Perriman to Greg Van Roten has been mixed. Hold on. His Perriman pickup. Perriman instead. Was Perriman him? I guess it was him. Perriman
Yes, it was. That was bad.
Yeah, Perriman over Robbie Anderson. he has come out and said, "Look, Perriman, I should have re-signed Robbie Anderson." So I'm okay with that thought process. The swing on Perriman, the speed, the success based on reps and things of that nature. I like the Perriman signing. I was a big fan of the Perriman signing. I have no issue with that. I do think that Robbie Anderson should have been retained. But that being said, Sam Darnold was not getting the ball to Robbie Anderson. Sam Darnold does not have a deep ball. We saw that in Carolina, and we saw that with the New York Jets. So I'm not too upset with that. Greg Van Roten, I don't know what part of his $2 million contract you thought was starter caliber money, but Greg Van Roten was never going to be a starter. It was one of those things that was like, hey, let's see what we got. The guy's a Jet fan. It's a guy that might have maybe some upside, but never going to be the guy that AVT was or that Laken Tomlinson was. So look,
Right.
I have, when I'm looking at the cumulative sum of everything that Joe Douglas has done, I will take everything that Douglas has done over any GM that we've had in the past that I've been watching since I've been a fan. So we're talking like Parcells to now. Green Bean, your thoughts?
I am.
Well, yeah, well, it's cherry picking. Like, look, every GM is going to have moves that they'd like to have back. They're also going to have, moves that are just flat out bad moves or whatever. Now, is Robbie Anderson that bad move? Maybe. Joe Douglas said when Robbie Anderson was having that one good year since he's been gone, that, hey, I would have liked to, do that one over. And that's fine. As far as Greg Van Roten, let's just remember, Kevin, exactly what that situation was. They had a 4th round pick, Cam Clark, who was switching from tackle to guard. He kind of had a red shirt rookie year. So they had him, they had Alex Lewis, and they had Greg Van Roten, 3 guys to battle for that right guard spot because they drafted AVT and they were putting him over there. So that's what was really going on. It just so happened that during training camp, Cam Clark broke his spine, however you would say that. He had a spinal injury and ended up having to retire. And then Alex Lewis retired out of nowhere. So we were left with Greg Van Roten. It's not like he went out there, signed Greg Van Roten and went, right guard's good. That's not the way it happened. And don't forget, too, he brought in like 3 or 4 other guards after Cam Clark went down, trying to see if there was any other guy that could compete with Greg Van Roten. It was late in the game. And look, does it suck? Yeah, but it's not exactly how we're saying it. He didn't sign Greg Van Roten as the starter, like Ryan said. What part of his $2 or $3 million makes you think they were committed to him? There was a 3-person battle for the right guard spot. 2 of the guys had to retire in like a month's period of time. Shit happens. You know what I mean? It sucks. I'm with you. But don't forget, Cam Clark never had an injury concern in college. He was a fucking fantastic draft pick. And it took a year to switch him. It was a great draft pick. And my thoughts on it, I have no proof, but my thoughts are they wanted to give Cam Clark every opportunity to win that job, and he more than likely would have because he's an animal. I love that pick. Just spinal injury. What are you going to do? So yeah, Joe, I think like Ryan said, the sum of what Joe Douglas has done is, dude, I mean, look 3 years ago when he got here, where we were. We had a bunch of contracts we couldn't get out of. We had a bunch of contracts with players that weren't even playing. You know what I mean? We had guys like Tremaine Johnson and Le'Veon Bell and Sam Darnold and Jamal Adams, all this stuff. He cleaned out the whole cupboard and flipped those losers for an entire draft class of additional capital. Look at the team we have. Whether it works, nobody knows if it's going to work. But if you look at what's happened over 3 years, I don't know why we try to cherry pick 1 or 2 or 3 bad moves. And it's like, look at the whole. It's masterful what we've done here. It's actually giving us a reason to feel confident for once.
Thomas Cahill drops in saying stability in the staff is more important than one quarterback. Matt, I'm going to throw this one to you, and then I'm going to ask Green Bean the same thing because I got to go to the bathroom and I got to take a leak. So, Matt, your thoughts on stability in the staff being more important than the quarterback?
It depends. It depends, I guess. That's not really a good answer, but what is the win-loss record like at that point for this year? Because if it's they are middle of the pack, but they're in a situation like the 49ers were with Jimmy G, where like the roster around them was good, but Jimmy's not going to get you over the top. That's one thing, but I don't know. It's when you usually, my point was that not necessarily that I would move on from him. I just think that it's more often than not, you are aligned with your quarterback that you spend that high of a pick on, if that makes any sense.
I'll be honest with you, Matt. I was talking to Kevin in the chat. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was just saying that it depends on what the win and loss record is. For the stability in the staff is more important than one quarterback. When I hear that, because like the people will point to the Steelers as they have this organization with great stability, but they had like 3 losing seasons in like a 30-year window. So it's not really comparable situations because the wins and losses have to matter eventually.
Yeah, well, they do. I agree. At the same time, I don't think. I think where I differ, because I'm with you 100% on that. Trying to say, that we're the Steelers or even the Ravens for that matter. They've had Harbaugh for the past 15 years or something along those lines.
Just about.
So it's hard to say that we're going to be them because you got to make sure you have the right guys to be them. At the same time, at some point, we have to stop walking around with the executioner's hatchet. We have to leave guys in here clearly solid-nosed football. He's a well-respected football mind out there. We saw LaFleur. He's young. We don't know, but he looked good last year. We can tell that Joe Douglas at least knows how to GM. Let's give these guys some time. If it doesn't work in the time frame that maybe we'd hope, I still would rather give those guys their time than chopping their heads up and off and going and hiring a new guy. I think at some point the record matters, but I would give Joe Douglas his entire 6-year contract. It's why he signed it in the first place. It's like, this is not an easy turnaround. The Jets are in the garbage. We have a ton of work to do here. I need 6 years, not 4. And then Saleh got 5 on top, not 4. So Joe got 6, Saleh got 5. And I think that they're going to want to give them most of that. Now, if it boils down to, first of all, I think fucking Zach Wilson's going to make it. That's just, let me put that out there. While we deconstruct these hypotheticals, I want to make sure everybody knows I think Zach Wilson is going to absolutely ball out this year. That's what I think. But in the event it doesn't, I think that they're also going to give him more than 2 years as well. So I don't think this is the year for that kind of stuff. I just think they're going to have more time than a lot of Jets fans think they're going to have. That's my thoughts on it.
No, it's fair. And by the way, I also think that Douglas, Saleh, and Wilson are all the guys. I'm a believer in all 3 of those guys. Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear because it's not like I'm anti those 3. I'm not. I think that it does work out. So actually, this whole conversation might not even be worthwhile having. Like, why are we doing this debate?
This feels like so running into this. We've talked about a New York minute, right? Like a New York minute is way faster than any other minute anywhere else. And it feels like that because the response to a losing season, the response to maybe not correcting things the way they should be corrected is way more accelerated in the New York market than it is in any other market across sports landscape. So I really hope we follow that sort of Steelers mindset in terms of like, let's let our guys develop. Let's let these guys make the decisions, and we'll figure it all out. Pump up the champ drops in, says, I don't know about y'all, but I hate Woody Johnson as our owner. He's the reason Belichick burned us back in '99 and started our spiral. Yes, there is some thought to the Belichick didn't want to have Woody Johnson as his owner. I don't know if that is solely the reason or if it was more so the Jets were trying to put Belichick on the back burner while Parcells was kind of the guy. But I will say this, as much as people give the Johnsons a lot of shit for being owners, I would take the Johnsons over a lot of other owners in most professional sports. They have shown the ability to fork over the money, whether it be for head coaches, whether it be for trade assets, whether it be for free agents. Like, these guys are not afraid to spend money to win, and they go outside and they try to get helpful consultation on bringing
Right,
guys in,
right.
and it's just kind of flopped. Like, it's not that they haven't tried, it's that things
Yeah.
just haven't worked out. And I do think they've hit gold with Joe Douglas. So look, I don't dislike Chris or Woody Johnson. Some of the mistakes they make are more so them just not being football guys as opposed to not caring and not wanting the team to win. So I don't dislike the Johnsons as much as maybe some other fans maybe feel like. Green Bean, any thoughts on the Johnsons' ownership?
Yeah, look, it's a touchy one because there's a couple of things, right? Like one, they blew it on the stadium thing. So a lot of fans, they can't get past that, right? Like, why are we still sharing a stadium with the Giants? I get it. I do. Business mindset. Why wouldn't you take another team that could literally pay for half of it in that market? Like, I know there's that court case out there about the Jets are in shitty Meadowlands, not New York City. Dude, it's New York City. You can see New York City from, I mean, it's like, I mean, they're closer than many other teams, but that's a fantastic place to be without having to be, within Manhattan's borders and all that sort of stuff. So it does make sense, but I hear it. But as far as the ownership, they clearly, like, one of the things I respect most about somebody is when they own that they can't do something, that they don't know how to do something, rather than just continuing to kind of bulldoze through. What Woody Johnson did was he went outside and got a consultation firm. Now, it completely flopped, because he was holding on to Rex Ryan. So he still had a piece to that, right? He didn't want to let Rex Ryan go and the whole thing. But then he goes out, he fires everybody, and he goes and gets two former GMs, two very successful GMs to staff his team. Dude, that shows humility. I mean, I'm sure in certain circles he was getting laughed at by his owners, his peers and everything. What, you don't know how to fucking hire a football coach? What's wrong with you? You own a football team. But he did it anyway. Again, it flopped. So the thing I like about the Johnsons is that, just like you said, Ryan, as bad as our GMs have been, whenever they said, hey, I want to go give this guy a crazy, ridiculous contract, it's going to be the highest contract in history and blah, they signed the check. They never had a problem with it. They were always game for giving our shitty GMs whatever money they want. They're not cheap owners as far as the team goes. I get why people don't like them, but I think the way you said it is perfect, man. There's a lot of worse owners out there, and I think if Joe Douglas can turn this team around, which I think he's going to, I think the Johnsons are going to really be seen as like turning the corner as far as their ownership goes.
Yeah, and Thomas Cahill dropped in with a super chat, says better than Hess. And yeah, the most successful period of Jets football has been under Woody Johnson's watch. Like, if you're looking, I mean, aside from, the Super Bowl, Super Bowl III, the vast majority of winning has happened during the Johnson era, even though the last 10 years have been kind of shitty there.
That's right.
Gabe drops in and says, since we're talking linebackers, who are your three favorite linebackers since the mid-'80s? Mine are, of course, Mo Lewis, David Harris, and Marvin Jones. I would say mine are probably David Harris, Mo Lewis, and I would say Jonathan Vilma would be my three. With like kind of a to be determined, like Demario Davis. Like, I wish we had him longer. Like, his Jet career not as exciting. I wish we had Vilma longer than we did. I thought he was really good. If we didn't switch defensive schemes, I think he would have been a really impressive player for us. Matt, do you have three favorite linebackers?
Yes, I am going to go. So I really only saw like 1 year of Mo Lewis. I was I think 03 was his last year. So I saw and that was really my first year getting into it. So I'm going to go with guys that I've seen. I'm going to go David Harris, Jonathan Vilma, and Eric Barton.
Ooh, interesting. Green Bean, what about you? Since the
Eric
mid-'80s.
Barton, no way.
That was one I remember people being very upset about.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. All right. My number one favorite linebacker the Jets ever had is Mo Lewis, right? But very, very close second is Kyle Clifton. He was a guy, he was getting 200 tackles a year and shit. He was the only guy we had for a long time. And the guy that replaced him, I would have to say, is number 3, and that is Marvin Jones. Now, I loved Brian Cox. There was lots of guys I loved for their temporary time. But Marvin Jones' whole career was a Jet. Kyle Clifton's whole career was a Jet. Mo Lewis' whole career is a Jet. I got to sit and watch those guys as if they were like I knew them. You know what I mean? They were my linebackers, and I fucking loved them. I loved them.
You know, I see some comments. Bart Scott in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Bart Scott maybe soured on me a little bit this past year, but no, Bart Scott
Yeah.
is absolutely a linebacker that 2009, 10, 11, whenever we had him for, was such an exciting player to have. He was violent. The interview with him after the Patriots playoff game where it's like, can't wait, like couldn't stop a nosebleed. Like that is everything I wanted the Jets to be. So I would probably put Bart Scott ahead of either Vilma or, Demario Davis in my thoughts, reconsidering that. Mr. Downtown says, if we have a promising season of at least 8 wins, which Jets assistant is most likely to get a head coaching job, Booth LaFleur, Ron Middleton, or other. I think LaFleur, if we have a good season, if we have 8 wins and Zach Wilson looks really good, I think LaFleur is absolutely going to be the guy that people start to look at. And the fact that McDaniels or whatever, the guy down in Miami, was looked at so favorably after 1 year being the guy in San Francisco, it would lead me to believe people believe in the Shanahan system, and I think LaFleur would be on the way. I really like Ron Middleton. I would just be surprised if he's known well outside of the Jets' scope of things. Matt, your thoughts? If there's a promising season for the Jets this year, which assistant is most likely to get poached for a head coaching job?
It's LaFleur, and it would be if Zach Wilson takes that step that is like the dark horse candidate to lead the league in touchdown passes. Like it would take Wilson becoming a star this year, which sure it could happen. But I think it's much more likely him over Ulbrich just based on what we saw last year.
Matt Greenbean, what about you? What do you think? Which assistant might be the most likely to be a head coach?
I mean, I guess from what we saw, it would be LaFleur. I'm wondering about Middleton. I think Middleton, I could see Middleton leapfrogging him. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know how, like as an offensive coordinator, what his chops are, but as a leader of men, I think that has been all but decided. I mean, Middleton's got that, man. He can inspire the living hell out of you. And so I could see that. But look, LaFleur is so young that like I have trouble seeing him get pegged so fast. But Joe Brady got interviews after his first year in Carolina. So, and look, McVay was super young. So I don't know. I think LaFleur could get it. And now if he has like one of those really successful seasons, like let's say Zach is historic, at least as far as Jets go, like a 3,500 yards or some shit like that. I think our highest touchdowns is 31. So I think so if he ends up, yeah, it's crazy. 31. It's so ugly. I think if he ends up getting our offense to fire on all cylinders and we're like a legit offense, I could see it, man. I could see him getting pegged, and then I would hope we'd bump Middleton up somehow. But yeah, I guess I gotta say LaFleur as a default, kind of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Maybe Middleton.
Sam drops in and says, how many head coaches and GMs have the Steelers had? It is time to continue a culture of longevity and proper competitive team building. I'm pretty sure the Steelers, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 5 head coaches in the history of their franchise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, and it's only it's only 3 in the past 40 years or something like that. It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy.
And there is a consistency, and part of that comes with having good football and strong GMs and things of that nature. But having consistency among leadership in any company, it doesn't have to be football. There is I don't want to say a lifestyle, a pattern that you follow. When you have good leadership and people fall in line and say, hey, I believe in this company. I think you're more likely to have staff retention. I think you're more likely to have buy-in from the rest of the staff. And having good ownership is where that kind of stems from, because everything flows top down.
Yeah.
But if the Jets can mimic what the Steelers have, I mean, I think that's everything that Jet fans would want to have from an organization. Muttvile says, Ryan, week 1, I'm finding you. LOL. By the way, 464 people in here, 300 likes, 10 memberships gifted, 400 likes for 25. Jets are going to shock the world this season. So, boys and girls, hit that like button. If we get up over 300 likes, then I guess Muttviles, I don't know how gifting memberships works, but I guess Muttviles can do it. So at 300 likes, we're getting an additional 5 memberships. At 400 likes, we're getting an additional 15 or no, 20. Crazy. So absolutely hit that like button. Let's see what winds up happening, because I'm just as curious as you guys are with all this sorts of stuff. Muttviles is the motherfucking man. Let's see. We got Pump Up the Champ coming in. Harry W. upgraded his membership actually to the frequent flyer tier, so thank you, Harry. Pump Up the Champ says, can we start a petition to replace Rich Cimini, a.k.a. Dick Chimney, as Frankie from Flatbush calls him? The guy is such a Debbie Downer, man. Cimini's... I don't love talking negatively about the beat writers, but I definitely... So we had this whole boycott the beat thing going on a little while ago, where we talked about like, hey, like these guys are spinning a negative story on the New York Jets. And I think a lot of us had issue with the attacks on the character of our players without any sort of justification for it. And Cimini, while he drives a bunch of clickbait, does provide some sort of value. But I think when you're irritated with Cimini, rather than retweeting him, rather than clicking on that ESPN, post that you have to pay for and be an ESPN insider, come over to the three of us. You have an opportunity to hear some level-headed Jets analysis on some of the stories that wind up coming out from the beat writers. Greenbean, any thoughts on Dick Chimney and how Jet fans should maybe handle the negative aspect of our beat sometimes?
Yeah, the absolute best way to do it is to block them. Like, I don't see, the only time I see anything from Cimini is when people that I do communicate with like retweet stuff. That's it. I don't see anything. That's the best way to do it, man. It's just to take them off your radar and it goes away. But one thing I will say is that Rich Cimini is literally the creator of a lot of the negative stuff. He's been doing it for a long time. People like to say, oh, he's the new Manish Mehta. Rich Cimini preceded Manish Mehta. He's been doing this I couldn't stand what he was writing 25 years ago. You know what I mean? When he wrote, I think it was for the Daily Record, or not the Daily Record, the Daily News. And then he went to he was Daily News, but he was somewhere else first. I forget what it was. But anyway, yeah, I mean, look, if you don't want to argue with them is what they want. Like, that's what they want to do. I'll talk to you guys about it, but I don't click on their stuff. I don't argue with them. I don't read anything by them. That's the best way. Just take them off your peripheral there.
Matt, how you feeling about the beat?
Not great. We've talked about it a lot. But I just think that sometimes they get into a habit of trying to drive storylines that aren't exactly there, and creating narratives, that bothers me sometimes. So, yeah.
I think we're probably all on the same page there. Greenbean, or not Greenbean, Matt, I'm going to have you go to last week's Talkin' Jets. We've already hit the 10 o'clock mark. This has gone way faster than I otherwise anticipated. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Greenbean, how many qualifiers we got on your notepad over there?
I got 10. I got to add one more because of the most recent bump. Let's see.
You guys hit that like button. For every 25 we get another t-shirt qualifier. So you might be able to get entered yourself if we can get up to 300. Not to mention, Muttviles is giving away a few memberships, so you get some of the cool emojis like the JETS, the freeze bean, the Joe Douglas middle finger, all those good ones over there in the chat. So make sure you hit that like button. Matt, I want you to pull up 5 of your favorite Michael Clemens comments from last week's stream. Guys, if you're watching this after the fact, drop some Michael Clemens jokes in the comments section. We'll do another round of this next week. Really enjoy that. B Trav says, I love when Ryan is buzzed. He's great. Sorry. I've had 2 IPAs and a White Claw. I don't even know what these IPAs are at.
Newsday. That's where it is. Sorry. Ephraim, thank you. Newsday.
Oh.
That's where he was first. That's right.
These are
Thank
8%. I've had 2
there you go.
8% and I guess whatever. The claw's probably 4 or something, if I had to guess. Where are we at?
All right, I'm ready
5%.
over here.
5%.
You guys are ready.
I'm ready too.
All right.
Oh,
so,
wow,
we're only at 17. You guys have 17 likes to get above 300. So do that while Matt is reading off our 5 favorite Michael Clemens jokes for Green Bean to add their name. So Matt, fire away.
Lou Chandler says Michael Clemens makes onions cry.
I like it.
Then you have Genko Abandon Abbandando. Says, oh wait, I just lost this. He had a good one. Sorry, please hold.
That's all right.
Sorry, Michael Clemens has a bare carpet in his room. It's not dead. It's just afraid to move. There we go. That was it.
That's good.
Love it.
I like that one. Come on, 3 more, everybody. 3 more.
Kev Chada says Clemens is the only one in the world who can email a wedgie. Hey, I'm trying to mix it up here a little bit. Okay. Disregard Papa. Michael Clemens makes Belichick see ghosts. And let's see if we can find one more in here. Someone just comments t-shirt giveaway. They just wanted the t-shirt giveaway. I don't think that's fair.
I don't think that's fair. Let's find another Michael Clemens. There was a few on there that I think.
Oh, okay. Matt McCormick. Here we go. Matt McCormick says Michael Clemens didn't fall to the 4th round. He electric slid his way up to it.
Ooh, I really like that one. That's a good one. Mutt Viles hit the gifted 10 Jets Talk 24/7 memberships. Mutt Viles is the man. Wow, look at everyone who's claimed him. So, Nick D.A., Nick Dow, the 42nd Ego, Benji Unger, Josh McMinn, Mike Giustiano, Sneaky Bob, Trainer Tone, Kyle Takayama, GB515. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many that is, but that's a bunch of them. Thank you, Mutt Viles, for dropping in all those memberships. Much appreciated. Mutt Viles is basically the Oprah of the Jets fan.
Yeah.
You get a membership. You get a membership.
Look under your seat. Look under your seat. There's a keys
you
to
all
a new
win
car.
a car. Here we go. I love it. All right, Green Bean, do we have all our contestants based on Matt's thoughts as well as what we have in the likes department?
Oh, Matt gave me names? Is that what he was doing?
Oh, no. Okay.
No. Green
Yeah, I
Bean.
was listening to the Michael Clemens comments. That's all I was doing. I'm sorry.
All right, Matt, fire away. Come on, let's find those comments.
Sorry,
let's get
buddy.
those guys
Okay,
back on the
it was Matt McCormick.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Disregard Papa.
Nice.
Genko Abandando.
Okay.
Kev Chada. And who the hell was the 5th one? No, we did disregard Papa. Lou Chandler. There you go. That was the fifth
There
one.
it is. Sorry, man. Sorry. I was just enjoying. So I was like just listening.
So Green Bean, let's throw a few more on there. There's a few funny ones that have popped up in the chat.
Okay.
Michael Clemens doesn't need a mask on Halloween. That's Boozer32. We've got Michael Clemens is the reason Waldo is hiding from Knob Craft.
There you go.
Kevin C says Michael Clemens can sneeze with his eyes open.
So Downtown said he doesn't take the trash out; it takes itself out.
Ooh, that's a good one too. I'm gonna
Joe
run out
S.
of room
on
on
the
a
list.
shirt for this stuff. It's gonna be great.
All right.
All right. Let's do some odds or evens here. Green Bean, you got our list?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. We got an odd. Scratch them off, Green Bean.
All right. Odd. Matthias Simon, you're gone.
Oh,
J Dubs, Jingle Dubs, you're gone. Mutt Viles is gone. That sucks. Stephen Engel, you're gone. Paris, you're gone. Tin Star, you're out. Matt McCormick, Kev Chada, Matt Morris. Okay, let's do it.
So Terry Monroe says Michael Clemens makes Arnold Schwarzenegger say, "I won't be back."
oof.
I'm not coming back.
I will not be back. All right, 3, 2, 1. That's an even. We got 6.
All right.
Woohoo.
All right. Joe S., you're gone. Hawk is gone. Wild Wave. Jinko Abinando is gone. Let's see here. And Joe S., you're gone.
All right, 3, 2, 1. That's an even.
An even. Okay. Harry, you're gone, buddy. Disregard Papa's gone. That's it. We got 3 left.
3 left. Okay, chat. First number to pop up plus whatever we throw up. 3, 2, 1. That's an 8. What number we got? We got 8 plus 2. 8 plus 2. Mutt Files with the 2 dropping in. That's a 10. That's an even number. Who's our winner,
All
Green
right,
Bean?
so- well, I still got 2. That only took one of the 3 away. Oh, no, it didn't. No. Okay. Lou Chandler is our winner.
Lou Chandler. Reach out to me on social media. Let's get your information. I'll send you out a sauce shirt or a shirt of your choosing. Boys and girls,
Lou.
we've reached the end of our stream. We thank you very much. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. But let's go around our panel. Let's give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, any thoughts for our panel?
Yeah, if you're not done, I'm still in the mood to yell some more. So in about 20 minutes, we're going to open up the After Hours Jets Fest on Green Bean Jets Fans YouTube page. So I'll be over there in a few minutes. All are welcome.
Matt, any last words for our panel?
Let's see. Subscribe to all 3 of us, please. Like this video. Check out Exit 16 West this week. We have Will Parkinson coming on. So if you want, subscribe to the Patreon and you get that. There you go.
Ooh,
Nice.
I love it. I love it. Boys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We love all your faces. You guys have been a whole lot of fun. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.